In a courtroom so tense you could hear the air trying not to breathe. King Harris, the son of rap legend T.I., just pulled off the most dramatic comeback since. Britney shaved her head and decided she was reborn, after weeks of viral chaos, jail rumors, and emotional meltdowns. King stood before the judge, voice trembling, eyes glassy, and begged for his freedom. And what happened next? Pure shock. The judge's decision hit harder than a 50-cent diss track. This wasn't just another celebrity courtroom moment, this was redemption. Raw emotion and pure chaos colliding in real time. 1 minute the room was silent, the next it exploded. Gasps, tears, phones recording, it felt less like a hearing and more like a live episode of Empire. And the craziest part? The judge didn't just let him walk. They delivered a verdict that nobody, not even T.I. himself, saw coming. So how did the most controversial rap kid go from behind bars to headlines that scream freedom? What did he say in that courtroom that changed everything? And is this the real King Harris redemption arc? Or just another act in the never-ending reality show we call hip-hop? Stay locked in because this one's wild. When King Harris walked into that courtroom, the atmosphere shifted like a storm rolling through Atlanta. You could feel it, tension thicker than T.I.'s dictionary-sized vocabulary. The boy who once flexed diamonds on Instagram now looked like he'd been chewed up by life and spit out on the floor of Fulton County. This wasn't the loud, cocky king who went viral arguing about how he's built different. This was a humbled, broken version, eyes low, suit too big, ego left somewhere in the holding cell. For weeks, the internet had been obsessed with every second of his downfall. The Waffle House fight clips, the jail rumors, the crying phone call that spread faster than a Drake leak. All of it had turned King's name into a full-blown circus. Social media was feasting on his pain like it was a buffet. Memes, tweets, TikToks, everyone had something to say. Half the world wanted him to learn a lesson. The other half wanted him to be free. Nobody could agree, but everybody was watching. And then came the big day, Judgment Day. Courtroom packed, reporters everywhere, and fans tuned in like it was the Super Bowl of celebrity humiliation. King's mom, Tiny, sat quietly in the back, sunglasses on. Trying to hold herself together, T.I. was stone-faced. That signature "I told you so" energy barely holding back years of frustration and heartbreak. You could practically hear the soundtrack of Family Hustle playing faintly in the background while the real-life drama unfolded. When King took the stand, the room fell silent. No smirks, no attitude, just pure fear and honesty. "I made mistakes," he started, his voice shaking. "I thought I was proving something, but I was proving nothing." The same kid who once went viral for bragging about not being soft was now standing in front of a judge, practically begging for forgiveness. It was the kind of raw humility no PR team could manufacture. The judge watched him closely, like they were trying to decide if they were looking at a lost boy or a future. Headline waiting to happen. The prosecutors didn't hold back either. They painted King as reckless, privileged, and spoiled a rich kid playing gangster until it stopped being fun. The crowd murmured when they brought up his past antics. Every viral moment, every arrogant comment, every fight, it was all dragged out in front of him like ghosts haunting the courtroom. Even T.I. looked uncomfortable hearing it all laid out like that, but then came the twist nobody expected. King didn't try to deny it. He didn't make excuses. He owned it. "I messed up," he said, "but I'm not what social media says I am. I'm not a monster. I'm just a kid who lost his way trying to live up to something that wasn't real." You could feel the shift in the room, like everyone suddenly remembered he wasn't just a meme. He was a son, a brother. A 20-year-old trapped in an image too heavy for him to carry. The judge leaned back, expression unreadable. The air was so thick you could slice it with a chain from one of T.I.'s old music videos. And then, in the back row, someone whispered, "He's crying." Sure enough, King's eyes started to well up. One tear slipped down, and just like that, every gossip blogger in the world had their next thumbnail. Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, fans were losing their minds. News cameras surrounded the building. Hashtags like #FreeKing and #HarrisHumbled were trending across platforms. TikTokers were editing dramatic slow-mo clips of King walking into the courtroom with sad R&B music in the background. The internet had turned his trial into an emotional event. And everyone wanted to play director. Inside. The judge finally spoke. "Mr. Harris," they began, "you come from privilege, but privilege doesn't protect you from responsibility." The words cut deep. King swallowed hard. However, the judge continued, "It's clear you've reflected on your choices." That one line changed the whole mood. You could feel hope creeping back into the room, slow but steady. T.I. straightened up. Tiny held her breath. The audience leaned forward, like it was the season finale of a show they swore they'd stop watching, but COULD and single quotes T. Then came King's emotional plea. The moment that would be replayed 1,000,000 times online within hours. "I don't want to waste my life trying to be something I'm not," he said. "I just want a second chance to make things right." His voice cracked halfway through the sentence, and the internet collectively stopped scrolling for 5 seconds. For once, the cocky viral celebrity kid wasn't acting. He was just human. And that's when the impossible happened. The judge, known for being tough on celebrity cases, did something nobody saw coming. They didn't lecture. They didn't shame. They sighed, looked at King, and said, "You're walking a dangerous line, but I'm giving you one last chance to prove you can change." The courtroom gasped. Reporters nearly dropped their pens. Even T.I. blinked twice, like he couldn't believe what he just heard. King Harris was being released, but it wasn't freedom without a catch. The judge ordered counseling, community work, and public service speeches to youth groups. "You will tell others what you've learned," they said, "and maybe save them from making your mistakes." It was poetic justice. The same kid who spent his early 20s flexing for clout now had to stand before crowds, teaching them not to do what he did. The internet loved it and roasted him for it at the same time as King was led out of the courtroom. The cameras flashed like lightning. Reporters screamed questions. Tiny broke into tears. And he gave his son one of those looks that said, "I love you, but don't make me regret this." The story was already writing itself. The King Harris redemption arc was officially in motion. Outside, fans chanted his name. "Free King. Stay strong. We love you, bro." It felt like a celebrity concert outside a courthouse. But deep down, everyone knew this wasn't the end. This was just the start of a new chapter in the wildest saga hip-hop has seen in years. Because when the King of the South's son walks free after an emotional plea, the streets talk, the blogs explode, and the world waits to see what he does next. The verdict was in. King Harris was free. But freedom, as he was about to learn, comes with its own kind of prison. The internet didn't even need a press release within minutes of King Harris walking out those courthouse doors. Social media erupted like it had just witnessed the season finale of Power. The cameras caught every frame, the flashbulbs, the tears, the half-smile King gave as he stepped into daylight for the first time in weeks. And just like that, King Harris free became the headline heard round the world. TikTok lit up first. Edits flooded timelines showing his slow-motion walk out of court with gospel music, trap beats, and even sad violin covers. Because why not? People who roasted him weeks ago were suddenly preaching redemption arcs and posting, "I told y'all he'd make it." Captions like they'd been in his corner all along. But not everyone was clapping. Twitter turned into a battlefield. Some fans were celebrating while others hissed. Rich kid privilege strikes again. One viral tweet read, "If King's last name wasn't Harris, he'd still be behind bars eating bologna sandwiches." Clapbacks. Even louder, bloggers jumped on it like vultures at a buffet. Gossip sites published exclusive inside sources claiming T.I. pulled strings behind the scenes. The man didn't just drop albums, he dropped favors. One article teased. Another alleged that Tiny called in every favor from every friend she'd ever met on the Family Hustle set. Whether true or not, the internet ate it up. Everyone had their own version of the truth. And none of it mattered because the drama was too good to resist. And then the clip dropped. The clip. A shaky cell phone video from inside the courtroom showing the exact moment the judge said, "You're free." You could see King's shoulders collapse, relief flooding his face like a tidal wave. The video spread like wildfire. Reaction channels went crazy. YouTubers paused mid-sentence just to say, "Yo, that's crazy." One caption read, "This hit harder than Meek Mill's release day." Even celebrities chimed in. 50 Cent reposted a meme of King smiling with the caption, "You better thank ya, daddy." Boy Boosie went live saying, "I told y'all." That boy got the sauce. Meanwhile, Meek Mill dropped a cryptic tweet. "Everybody deserves a second shot." Fans weren't sure if he was showing love or throwing shade, but either way, engagement went through the roof. But the wildest moment came from the one person nobody expected, T.I. himself. He posted a short clip of himself driving in silence, then suddenly smirked and said, "Lesson learned." That was it. 2 words, and the internet exploded. People read into it like it was a verse from the Bible of hustle. Was he proud? Was he disappointed? Was it both? Everyone had theories. The comment sections turned into psychological studies on fatherhood, fame, and hip-hop family dynamics. Meanwhile, fans started pulling up old videos of King acting tough and captioning them with character development. It became a trend. People started making side-by-side edits of King yelling on live versus King crying in court, calling it from Waffle House to wisdom. It was brutal, hilarious, and weirdly inspiring. That's the power of the internet. It can destroy you and rebuild you within the same news cycle. But just when things seemed to be calming down, another twist dropped. A supposed leaked voicemail hit TikTok, allegedly from King to one of his friends. The audio was emotional. "I don't even care about fame anymore," he said. "I just want to fix my name. It's real or fake." It was all the internet needed. Within hours, the clip had millions of views, spawning conspiracy theories, fake transcripts, and even parody remixes. King Harris wasn't just trending, he was dominating every platform, like he'd dropped an album. Tiny finally broke her silence with a short post, a photo of King as a little boy with the caption, "My baby's home. God is good." That one line had fans bawling. Celebs flooded her comments with heart emojis and stay strong messages. The same blogs that mocked her a week ago were now praising her as the definition of a mother's love. The internet flips faster than a pancake when the tears start falling. But then, the inevitable happened. Haters came crawling out. They claimed the whole emotional plea was rehearsed. That King's tears were crocodile tears. That T.I. had written the speech himself like it was a Grammy performance. One blogger even called it the Redemption Show. Produced by Daddy Tip. Of course, fans clapped back instantly. "If crying on command gets you freedom," one user joked, "then King deserves an Oscar, not a sentence." As the drama reached peak absurdity, journalists started turning it into a morality play. Think pieces popped up with titles like "The Cost of Clout," "How Fame Broke the Harris Family," and "King Harris, a reflection of Gen Z's identity crisis." Overnight, he went from a spoiled meme kid to a symbol of youth gone viral. You couldn't escape it. Every platform, every podcast, every TikTok duet had something to say. Even hip-hop veterans weighed in. Snoop Dogg dropped a casual comment saying, "That boy just learned the realest lesson, life don't play." Ice Cube reposted the news on X with the caption, "Glad to see him home. Now let's see him grow." Suddenly, King wasn't just a headline. He was a teachable moment for the entire industry. And that's when the twist no one saw coming hit. King himself finally broke his silence. No tears, no PR fluff, no pity. Just a simple Instagram caption under a black and white photo of himself walking out of court. Free, but not done. The internet went wild. The caption was poetic, cryptic, and perfectly dramatic. It was the kind of comeback post that screamed, "I'm about to flip this pain into a profit." But you could tell something in him had changed. The arrogance was gone. The performative energy, gone. For the first time, it looked like King Harris was seeing the world without the Instagram filter. And that's when people started asking the real questions. Would he return to music? Would he use his story as a platform for change? Or would this just be another chapter in the never-ending saga of celebrity chaos? And as all these questions spun online, one thing became clear: whether you loved him, hated him, or just watched for entertainment, King Harris had done the impossible. He turned his breakdown into a breakthrough. And that courtroom moment, that tear, that plea, became the pivot point for a redemption story no one saw coming. But let's be honest, this is hip-hop, not Hollywood. Every redemption arc comes with a remix. And the world was already waiting for the next plot twist. Because if King Harris walking free shocked the world, imagine what happens when he decides to speak his truth. The story wasn't over, not by a long shot. By the time the sun set on King Harris' first night of freedom, Atlanta was buzzing like the city had just crowned a new mayor. Every blog, every news outlet, every live stream had one name on repeat: King Harris. The streets were talking, the internet was spinning, and the Harris family was once again front page news. But this time, it wasn't about chaos, it was about comeback. Well, at least that's how it started. As he walked out of the courthouse, cameras flashing like fireworks, King gave a small smile, the kind that said, "I survived." The kid who once bragged about being untouchable had just been humbled by the universe, and oddly enough, fans were loving it. People were calling him the Phoenix of Atlanta, the prince who fell and rose again, and even hip-hop's prodigal son. But not everyone was convinced. Some commenters weren't ready to forgive, and they made sure he knew it. "Enjoy your freedom," Rich Boy One wrote. "Regular folks don't get second chances." The internet might have short-term memory, but it never forgets enough to let you rest. Still, for every hater, there were 10 people rooting for him. When King finally posted a short video thanking his supporters, it broke 1 million views in under an hour. No jewelry, no flexing, no background music, just King speaking softly, saying, "I learned what silence sounds like." It's louder than any applause. The clip spread like wildfire, with fans calling it surprisingly deep. Even his harshest critics admitted it didn't sound like a PR stunt. For once, King Harris sounded like a man, not a meme. Meanwhile, T.I. stayed unusually quiet. No Instagram essays, no interviews, just one subtle message in his bio. Growth is pain, but pain grows kings. Fans went crazy decoding it. Some said it was aimed at King, others thought it was T.I. talking about himself. Either way, it proved one thing: the Harris family knew exactly how to turn real life into legend. Tiny followed up with a heartfelt post that said, "A mother's prayers never fail. Thank you, God." That one line had every gossip site spinning it into a redemption headline. Suddenly, the family that had been called dysfunctional for months was trending for healing. But it didn't take long for chaos to make a comeback. Because, let's be honest, peace doesn't sell as well as pain. Within days, a new wave of rumors hit. Screenshots started circulating, claiming King had been offered a documentary deal. The title, "Freedom Ain't Free: The King Harris Story." The internet went nuts. Some said it was too soon. Others said it was genius. The same people who cried privilege were now promising to stream it on release day. That's the power of a scandal. It always ends up paying someone's bills. Then came the curveball that nobody saw coming. King was spotted leaving a youth detention outreach program. Cameras caught him shaking hands with teens, smiling, listening, and actually talking about his mistakes. No security entourage, no dramatics, just quiet action. A journalist on the scene said, "It didn't feel like a PR stunt. It felt like he meant it." Fans were stunned. The internet had never seen this version of King before. It's the one who wasn't performing. But the world of fame doesn't allow peace for long. The next morning, a gossip blogger posted a shady headline: "T.I. using King's struggles for clout." It accused the family of capitalizing on trauma, using the courtroom saga to boost their image. It was harsh, but it caught traction fast. Every comment section turned into a debate about fame, parenting, and what it really means to be a role model. Suddenly, King's story wasn't just about him. It was about the entire celebrity machine. And while everyone argued online, King stayed silent. No posts, no interviews, just stillness. That silence was louder than any viral rant. People began saying maybe that's his redemption, not talking, just doing. It became a slogan on fan pages and TikToks. Edits flooded in with captions like "from chaos to calm," and "when silence becomes strength." Somehow, King's absence made him more popular than his presence ever did. But the quiet couldn't last forever. During an interview weeks later, T.I. finally broke his silence, and he didn't hold back. "I can't protect him from every consequence," he said, "but I can show him that life don't end with mistakes." That line alone became headline gold. Clips of it racked up millions of views, and suddenly everyone was quoting T.I. like he was Atlanta's Confucius. Fans praised him for being real, while critics accused him of playing damage control. Either way, the Harris name was once again dominating the timeline, this time not because of chaos, but because of reflection. Then, as if scripted by the universe, King finally reappeared. A small stage. A local Atlanta event. No announcement, no hype. It's just him. He grabbed the mic, smiled nervously, and said, "I used to think being a man meant being loud. Now I know it means being real." The crowd went silent, then erupted into applause. It wasn't about celebrity anymore. It was about humanity. That one moment, more than any viral clip, showed everyone that King was changing. Of course, the internet couldn't resist turning even that into content. Reaction videos poured in. "This man had his Kanye redemption arc," one user joked. Another wrote, "This is giving Robert Downey Jr. comeback energy." Robert Downey Jr. comeback energy. The memes were endless, dramatic, funny, and painfully accurate. Because King Harris had gone from internet menace to motivational moment. Faster than you could refresh your feed. Still, beneath the applause, some people couldn't help but wonder, would it last? The fame, the pressure, the temptation, it's the same cycle that swallows every young star trying to rebuild. And King's every move would now be magnified tenfold. Every post, every lyric, every public appearance, all eyes would be waiting for a slip-up. Because in the social media age, redemption isn't a chapter, it's a countdown. But for now, King was at peace. Reports said he'd been spending more time with family, staying off social media, and even helping T.I. with community outreach. He'd been humbled, but not broken. Changed, but not erased. The same energy that once fueled his rebellion was now fueling his rebuild. And for once, it looked like the Harris legacy was healing, not hurting. The last image the world saw of him was powerful King, standing beside his father at a local charity event. No shades, no chains, just authenticity. The boy who once fought the world was now standing tall beside it. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't viral. But it was real. The same internet that once tore him apart now flooded his comments with messages like, "Proud of you, King, and this is what growth looks like." It's funny. The same people who cancel you one day will crown you the next. And somehow, King Harris managed to survive both. Because in the end, the judge didn't just free him from jail, they freed him from the version of himself that fame created. And maybe, just maybe, that's what he needed all along. And there you have it, King Harris, the comeback nobody saw coming. From courtroom breakdowns to second chances. From viral chaos to redemption headlines. The kid who once made headlines for all the wrong reasons just flipped his own script. The same judge who could have crushed his future ended up unlocking something way bigger: growth, humility, and a lesson the whole industry needed to hear. But let's be real, this is hip-hop, not Hollywood. Peace never lasts long, and quiet never trends. So the question is, will King Harris keep walking the straight path, or will fame pull him back into the mess that made him viral in the first place? Because if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, It's that in this game, redemption is temporary, but attention is forever. Drop your thoughts down below. Do you believe Kings really changed? Or is this just another PR miracle cooked up by the Harris household? The comment section's about to look like a courtroom of its own, and I need my Expose Express crew to sound off now. Before you dip, smash that like button like you're breaking free from your own sentence. Slap that subscribe button harder than I hit the studio in 2008. And ring that bell icon like the judge just banged the gavel on another scandal. Because here, we don't miss a single headline. We live for them. Tomorrow, it might be another rapper crying in court, a leaked audio shaking the internet, or a celebrity meltdown nobody saw coming. Whatever it is, you already know. Expose Express will have the tea boiling before anyone else. Stay loud, stay curious, and stay ready, because this circus never closes.